Hey everybody, it's Suzanne Wells. Welcome back to another video. And today we have a seller interview. We have Linda Farrell, who is out in Colorado, who's going to share with us some information about her business and how it's growing. And hopefully that will help those of you out there who are struggling or want to find success faster. So got my notes here as always.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Linda. So let's hear a little bit about you, where you live, how long you've been selling on eBay, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm in the Denver area of Colorado. I've been here about almost 9 years now. I moved here from Northern California, where I lived my whole life. And after moving to Colorado and finally finding a job after being out of the workforce for 8 years, because I'd been taking care of my father for the 8 years prior to that. So it took a while to finally find a job. When I did find a job, pay wasn't that great, and I was either going to need to get a second job or do this thing that I had heard about, picking and reselling, going to garage sales and selling stuff on eBay. And my brother was already doing something similar to it, so I was familiar from it with him. So I didn't want to get a second job, so I finally just did it, started hitting some garage sales. I'd go to garage sales with like $20 in my pocket and find things for, if I had to pay more than $1 for an item back then, it was tough, but found a few items, got them listed on eBay, made my first sale, and I kind of haven't looked back. I continued to build it from that point, and I don't know, after a year or two, I finally realized I absolutely loved this business, that this was finally, I found the thing that I wanted to do, that I loved, that I could make money at. So then it kind of became a goal to eventually get to the point to where I could quit my job, because I had my full-time job. And it took a while, but a year and a half ago, I did finally go full-time, quit my job, and now this is all I do. I do more than eBay, yeah, it's finally grown into what I want it to be.
So you'd say it just kind of hits you like, this can work. Yes, I can put this together. There's all this stuff, and there's these people who want to buy it, and there's a way to sell it to them, and I can make money, and it's fun. And you just, that's what it was for me. I was just like, I had this gut feeling. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. This is going to work. I'm going to do it. So that's kind of where you were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was doing it very part-time, evenings and weekends whenever I had the energy and the time to do it. So, I was maybe putting in 10 hours a week, and I was starting to build to the point where I was making as much as I was at my job. Of course, it doesn't say much for how much I made at my job, but
well, that's a lot of people right now. I mean, that's just the way it is right now.
Yeah, so, when I saw that part-time I could make close to a full-time income, I thought, well, what can I do if I am full-time? Mm-hmm. And so that's when I realized, this is real. I can do it. My brother was doing it, and I was seeing people on YouTube do it, and I thought there's no reason I can't do it. So yeah.
So you got to the point where that
set myself that goal, and I got there.
That real job was weighing you down, and it's like I got to get rid of that so I can do this other thing full-time and really let it take off.
Yeah, well, in the end, that I realized that my job really had become a safety net for me, and I wasn't really pushing this business as hard as I should have been, trying to get to my goal of being able to quit my job, because I had that weekly paycheck coming in, so it was just a nice safety net. But then some things went south real fast at my job, and there were some management changes that I just wasn't willing to stay and deal with. And so that's when I decided it was time to take the safety net away. And so I gave my notice and left the job, and have been 180%, or whatever you want to say, ever since. Is now I don't have the safety net. Now, if I don't work the business and make the sales, I won't have the money to pay my bills. So, the safety net is gone, and it can be a bit stressful, but I'm so much happier now than I was when I had that job. Thank goodness for people that want the stability of a 9-to-5 type job, because I don't.
Well, and it's not that stable for a lot of people. You just never know if you're going to get the axe next. Right. And you can work for Delta or IBM or Coca-Cola or, whatever, and still it happens. But, it gets.
Well, some people want the structure too, of someone telling them what to do every day. And I don't. I I like the flexibility that I have. I can work in the morning, afternoon, night, whatever part of the day, and it frees me up to go and hang out with my friends or help my friends, in a time of need. I have a friend who just, had a baby recently, and I've been helping her with her walking her dogs because with, a new baby in the house, it's not something she can do very easily now.
Right.
And I absolutely love that I can go and do stuff like that, or any other friend has some sort of need.
Mhm.
I have the flexibility to be able to go and help them and not have to worry about taking a vacation day or a sick day or something.
Right. And that job, that real job, safety net job, um, it gets to the point where you're spending hours a day to maintain that for whatever paycheck you're getting, and you're just doing it to maintain that paycheck. Because I've had writing jobs like that where work wasn't like exactly what I wanted, and it was flexible, but there was all this criteria of what it had to be and deadlines, and it's just like I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want them telling me how to write stuff, I just kind of kept that job because it was so many dollars a month. And then it's finally like, I got to let that go because it's getting in the way of bigger things I can be doing. Even though it's
Hmm.
guaranteed money, you get to the point where you just want to let it go. It becomes a ball and chain kind of thing. Is it really worth your time to maintain that? And it takes a while to get there, to be able to let it go. But you did. So, and you're not new to eBay. You've been around for a while.
No, I originally sold on eBay back in the very beginning days, back in the late 90s, during the Beanie Baby craze. Both my brother and I, we would buy large lots of Beanie Babies and then break them up into individuals or smaller lots and resell them on eBay. And that was back in the day where you had to wait for a check or money order to be mailed to you before, and then make sure it cashed. Then you could ship the item to the customer. You didn't have PayPal back then. So that was my first foray into reselling. And then we also got into a bit of baseball card selling. We went to shows. We didn't do that so much of that on eBay, but we would go to the collector shows and get a booth and sell at the shows. So I guess reselling has always been a little bit in my blood. I just needed to find the exact thing of doing, because back then I never occurred to me to go to garage sales and thrift stores, but there was first the Beanie Babies, baseball cards. So yeah, so technically I've been on eBay since pretty much the beginning of eBay.
So 20 years. Yeah,
Break.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she said Beanie Baby. So you guys look at my video above about that because it's changed. So go watch that video if you've got Beanie Babies. We're not going to get into that now, but that's one thing about eBay. It changes. So it's a moving target.
Constantly.
You just got to keep figuring out what your next target is. And you can't just say, I'm going to sell skincare moisturizers with green tea in it, and okay, that might work for 3 months, but then you got to do something else. So you've been around
Yeah.
long enough to
That,
know.
that's why it's not as easy as a lot of YouTubers make it out to be. It's not like you find all of a sudden you find, oh, these items sell, and you never have to do any research or anything again, because guess what? A month or 2 or 6 months later, that item plummeted value-wise, either because the interest is no longer there or too many resellers have come in and are selling it and flooded the market. So you constantly have to be researching, looking for new items, making sure the items you're currently selling are still viable. So it's constant research.
Well, and that's why the picking, thrifting reseller model is so attractive. And that's the one I really only recommend, that because you may have the only Stetson size, whatever hat in black at that moment that buyer wants, and you can sell it, and it goes right then. If you're selling, earbuds or skincare or stuff that anybody else can get, even if it's wholesale or they're buying pallets, or, it's so easy that you can go online and order pallets from Target or Costco or whatever. Guess what? Everybody else can too. So when you're a picker, when you're looking at thrift stores and garage sales, you may find that set of salt and pepper shakers. Somebody put on the group the other day an IKEA vase they got for like less than $10, and it sold for over $200 because it's there's just not that many of them. And so that does not happen with drop shipping and wholesaling and all these other models that people are trying to follow. If you really want to make money, thrifting, garage sales, estate sales, the reselling, being a picker is where your money is. So
Right.
good point.
And at least to me, it's more interesting to sell different items every day. You know, I do get into a bit of retail arbitrage, and at some point I might look into a little wholesaling for the financial aspect of it.
Mhm.
That won't necessarily be the fun aspect. Yeah, it's the finding the unique items, the items that when a person finds it in your store and they buy it and they send you a message thanking me for having listed this item because they've either been looking for years, or it put them right back to their childhood, or I don't get those kind of messages a lot, but I definitely get them occasionally, and I save them. They're great. It makes what we do, I don't know, just a lot more enjoyable.
It's
Make you feel like
fulfilling.
you're making a difference.
Right. Like, look at the video above, guys, about the mug that I sold to the kid that broke his grandma's favorite mug. I mean, I had this mug. I think I paid 25 cents for it, and he bought it for around 20 bucks. And he was so thrilled to find it. He felt so bad for breaking his grandmother's favorite mug. And guess what? I got to spend a quarter and a little bit of time putting it on eBay. The kid's happy. The grandma's happy. Well, it may have been a grown man. I don't know. It just sounded like a youngish, a youngish, like teenager-ish person. The grandma got her mug back. Everybody's happy, and I got to do that. So
Yeah.
that's yes, retail arbitrage is good and wholesaling can work. It's just not as sustainable as being a picker, because you're always coming across
Right.
new things. Now, what
Right.
was your professional background before you became a full-time, I call them redistribution specialist on eBay?
Nice. I have quite a variety in my background. I guess going back to the beginning, I got my degree in geology, geophysics, seismology. I was real interested in earthquakes, and I got my bachelor's degree in there. But I was pretty burned out by the time I got my degree, and I didn't want to go on for my master's and PhD. So at least while I was deciding what I wanted to do, I got a job in the surety bond insurance industry through a temp agency, and it was only supposed to be like a 6-week job, and ended up sticking around there for 5 years. I went from knowing absolutely nothing about the industry to being an underwriter and the branch manager at my office before the company got sold and they closed the office. So I did that for 5 years. Then I moved into a couple other, I've done market research, and then most recently I was with an electronics parts company in the sales department. Customer service rep basically is what I was. And I was there for almost 6 years. That was the job I got when I moved here to Colorado.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about that industry either, so I learned it from the ground up. And but it's the kind of sales that I don't necessarily like. I mean, I guess technically, in reselling I am in sales, but I'm not calling people trying to get sales and everything like
Right, direct sales, yeah. So
So
your degree is in geology, geophysics, seismology, and you said that to really progress in that field, you had to have a master's and a PhD, and that just wasn't going to work for you. You just didn't want to.
Yeah, I gotten pretty burned out getting that bachelor's, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to go back and get the master's at some later point, but I just never did. I got into this other job. I actually was enjoying it, and but I still, the geology and the seismology is still a hobby of mine. I still keep up on it all. I just have never worked in the industry.
So if you come across any cool looking rocks at a garage sale, you know what to do, right?
I do always take a peek.
So it's like life, we think it's going to do this, but it really does like this.
Totally. And that's exactly how I've been a limousine driver in the past.
A limousine driver. Oh my gosh. You've been all over the place then. There's some interesting people who rent limousines. My brother was a limo driver.
Yeah. The stories I have there, that's a whole nother show.
I heard the stories from my brother because he did that for a while as a side hustle, and it was just like, whoa. Okay, so The next burning question is, did something change in your life recently that pushed you towards growing your eBay business? And you've kind of covered that with just your job wasn't exactly stable. You just wanted to be more in control of your day and your flexibility and do what you love. So you didn't really have like a life crisis. You did mention having been a caregiver for your father, which is kind of what changed your track a little bit. Um, right?
That is what prompted me to move, because once he passed away, I no longer had anything holding me in California. Um, California was too expensive. I was never going to be able to afford to buy a house out there. I was ready for a change. I wanted to live somewhere that had weather, had snow. I'd never lived where there was snow before. And since I no longer had anything holding me in California, I thought, okay, this is the time for me to move. But where did I want to move? I didn't want to go. I had family in Texas. I hate Texas. It's too hot. I didn't want to
Yeah, it's very hot there.
too flat. So, as nice as it would have been to go live near my sister again, I couldn't do Texas. And but then my best friend, she and her husband were thinking about moving to Colorado because their daughter and family had just moved out here, so they wanted to kind of stay with where the grandkids were. And I had almost moved out here about 30 years ago, so I already knew I liked Colorado. So that was kind of an easy decision at that point. It's like my best friend's heading out there. Her daughter was a friend of mine. She's moving out. She was already out here. They have snow, but it's not like South Dakota snow, or North Dakota snow where you're just buried all the time. You get the snow and then it's gone. They get lightning storms, so yep, I'm gonna move to Colorado. So
Okay.
I did, and I never regretted it. It was the greatest decision to come out here, a brand new start. Just new area, beautiful out here.
And Denver is great for sourcing.
Oh my gosh, I really lucked into that, because I didn't move out here with the intent of knowing I was going to be reselling, because I still didn't really know about this. But I got real lucky, because actually where I live, I'm literally across the street from a big thrift store. I'm about 3-4 minute drive away from a Goodwill. I mean, I have numerous thrift stores all within a 10-minute drive of me. There's auction houses out here. We have lots of garage sales during the summer. Now, granted, we don't have them. We do have a season, a garage sale season, so I don't have them year round like down areas down south and everything. But plenty of thrift stores, auction houses, estate sales. I love one of the estate sales, and we always have multiple estate sales every week. So I have no lack for places to source. And then if I really wanted to, I can go to the Denver bins, which are some of the best bins in the country. I've only been once, but that's mainly because I kind of don't need to.
Well, and you said you got lucky. No, this is what's supposed to happen for you. This is karma. This is the universe working with you of like, okay, you're going to be attracted to that area because all this is waiting for you for your business. So you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and it's working. So we have this standard question for everybody. You kind of mentioned where you go to source and that kind of thing. How much do you generally pay for an item that you're going to resell? Do you have any limits?
I don't have a limit as long as I know I can make a profit on it. When I first started this and I would hit garage sales, like I said earlier, I didn't like paying more than $1 for an item. But now I was at a garage sale 3-4 weeks ago, and I picked up 50 vintage beer advertising T-shirts.
Oh,
and
man.
I paid $100 for them.
For 50.
The thought of paying $100
a piece.
at one garage sale, I never would have done, even probably 3 or 4 years ago. But I am so comfortable in what I do now and comfortable in my knowledge. I know 50 vintage beer advertising T-shirts I can get that back in 2 or 3 of the shirts. So I'm not afraid to spend money. I've spent $40, $50, $60 on a single item. If I know I'm going to be able to make $150, $200 on it, I'm not afraid to do that anymore. But
and that courage comes with experience. You build up that courage because people are like, oh, I would never spend that much. But once you get more settled into this business and get some sales behind you and see what sells and what doesn't sell, and that confidence to spend more will come. So you just have to let that unfold for you and not, if you're not comfortable paying that much for stuff, don't pay it. But people struggle with, oh, should I buy this? And they post stuff on the group, my Facebook group, should I buy this? Well, you really shouldn't be asking other people that. You need to figure that out on your own. What is your level of risk? How do you feel about it? Because it might take 6 months or a year to sell. And if you're not okay with that, then that's not a risk you should take. But that comes with experience. So about how many things do you sell a week?
Well, I'm on a lot of different platforms. So
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. How many different platforms you sell on?
Well, let's see. eBay is my main bay. And then I'm also on Amazon. I do both FBA and merchant fulfilled. Etsy, and I'm starting to really build up my Etsy store now. I've got about 100. I think I have about 150 items on Etsy now. On eBay, I've got close to 1,100. Amazon, I don't ever even look at my numbers. I think I have 800. I'm not sure. Amazon is just Amazon.
You said a couple of hundred on Amazon, over 1,000 on eBay, 150 on Etsy, 80 on Poshmark, and a few things locally. So you are doing the ideal, not putting all of your eggs in one basket, balancing things out. Exactly. So that's fantastic. Okay. So let's see what else we asked. So you came, the dollar amount of what you have listed, you said was about 30,000. And so is that across all platforms or just eBay?
That would have been just eBay, yeah.
Okay,
because
so that,
like with Poshmark, almost everything is cross-listed, so it's the same items.
okay.
Etsy, probably about 75-25, so 75% original are just listed there, 25% is cross-listed. So I have another couple $1,000s over on Etsy. And then Amazon, to be honest with you, I have no idea.
It's hard to follow what goes on Amazon. So what she's saying, guys, is that she didn't spend $30,000 on inventory. That's the market value of the stuff that's listed if she were to sell it all at her asking price right now. Okay.
Right.
So you came to us a few months ago to help you with your listings. And I'm talking about the virtual assistant service where we list your items for $2 a piece. And so why did you come to us for that?
I had hit, I'm a sole person with my business. I don't have a spouse that helps me or a partner or anything. So it's just me. And I had
Solopreneur.
Say again?
It's called a solopreneur, like an entrepreneur, but you're by yourself.
And I had kind of hit the point time-wise. There's only so many hours in the day that I can spend towards the work. I mean, I still have to do the house cleaning, the grocery shopping, the errands, and everything. So I kind of have to do it all. And I pretty much maxed my time where I wanted to get financially, and I knew I still needed to get more items listed. So I was trying to figure out how I could. I'm a control freak, so it's a little hard for me to bring an employee in and work for me. So I wasn't sure how to go that route. But then I heard about your VA service and how it worked, and I thought, well, let me give it a try. Maybe that could help free up a little bit more of my time. And it's worked out great for me. It just gives me that extra few hours a week that I don't need to work on the listings, that I can spend on either platforms or sourcing or whatever it is, the other items that I need to work on. I can do that, and I know I still have listings being worked on by my VA.
And we've done, I think you just ordered your 24th batch.
Yeah.
I saw that come in like yesterday, maybe. So if there's 20 in each batch, that's right at 500 items, 480 items that we have done for you, which is amazing. Why I wanted to have you on is because you're so consistent. You send a batch or two a week, and it's just, I was like, oh, it's time for Linda again. Oh, there she is, and you're very consistent. So you've built this into your business. It's not just sort of like sporadically, oh, I need to send some stuff. You have a real system for getting the work to us so we can turn it around for you.
I don't get it to you, it's not going to get done, and it sits in my closet, and I've run out of room.
Yeah, that's a problem for a lot of people.
So yeah, it's been real nice.
So let's talk
Yeah,
about, go
the
ahead.
clothing just kind of builds up for me, and if I don't work, it's the last thing I want to work on, because it's not necessarily fun for me to work on clothing. But it is nice when it sells, because it's easy to ship. So and the money can be real nice. So the thing that I have loved about your service and my VA is I'm not necessarily up on fashion. I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl, so I don't know the styles and the trends and necessarily the keywords to use for a lot of the tops. And my VA is Kristen, and she's come up with keywords that never occurred to me. Or there was I've got this one Hawaiian shirt I have listed, and when she was doing the research on the shirt, she found out that it was a shirt that Magnum PI, Tom Selleck, wore on his show. That I had no idea. I would have listed the shirt probably for $25, and here it's a $60 shirt.
Has it sold yet?
No, it has not sold yet. I'm being a little patient with it. I have it as best offer, but
okay.
I imagine it will at some point this summer.
Are you seeing items sell for higher prices than you would have put on them?
There's been quite a few items I have sold that she priced higher, and I thought, well, I'll go with that. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I do have the best offer on it. So, and yeah, there's been some things that's like, wow, that I would not have asked that much for it, and I ended up getting it. So,
well, and one thing that you mentioned about the keyword knowledge, we see this a lot. So I'm actually starting another service just for optimizing listings. So for you guys out there listening, watching, if you have all these listings that you've done, they're not moving, we can optimize those for you. We don't have to list them from scratch. So look below the video for the link to that service, because it's kind of a branch out of, spin off of the VA service. We don't have to do it from start to finish, because we're seeing a lot of comments like that, that you just don't know what the keywords are. And do you send us more than just clothing items?
No, I've just done the clothing. When it comes to the hard goods, I like the control on my hard goods.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I like doing the research on the hard goods. I don't like researching clothes. I love researching hard goods. That's one of the things I love about this business is the research, but it's research of unique items and stuff, not a blouse.
Right.
And that really is a necessary evil for me with selling the clothing. But the hard goods, yeah, I love doing the research on the hard goods and everything. So yeah, I've strictly done clothing.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that we specialize in is clothing. And a lot of people are trying to get into it because it's so plentiful. It's everywhere you go. It's 75% of what you see at garage sales and thrift stores. And so if you hate doing it because you don't know how to do it, that's where we can help you, because you are leaving a lot of money on the table if you just say, I hate listing clothing. It is a little bit more labor intensive to put it on a mannequin if you're doing that, or even flat lay is like, you have to have a setup where you're not constantly bent over all day laying stuff out, because
yeah, I had to switch from doing flat lay on like my jeans to now I hang them up on the wall, because my legs and my back just couldn't handle the back lays anymore.
That's one reason I don't like flat lay, is it's just physically harder to do unless you rig up some kind of 45-degree angled table, like a drafting table that you can do it on. That works, but it is more labor intensive, but it's also very profitable and plentiful, and it's considered a consumable. Things wear out, people have to replace them. So just throwing that in there. Now about Kristen, your VA, I don't know if you know this. She is a mom of 2 kids, and she has a master's degree in engineering. Did you know that?
I think we're having a little connection issue at the moment.
Okay, I think I got you back. Yeah, she has a master's in engineering from University of Texas. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
She's very analytical, very detail oriented, and I'm working on a page for my site where I've got, meet the VAs and a little bio about everybody, but I didn't know that either. And that's why she's so meticulous about everything, is just the way she's wired. And who would think that somebody with a master's in engineering would be a stay-at-home mom with an eBay business and doing this VA work part-time, that's the beauty of eBay. It's so flexible. You can use it in so many ways. But I love her because her clients are so consistent, and she's so detail oriented because of her analytical engineering background, and she figures out how to make things work. So just a shout out to Kristen, and maybe we'll get her on here one day to talk about it. But that's who you've got working for you, is somebody with a master's in engineering. So,
well, see, it was me that you matched us with me having my science background, and she's the engineering. We've got the STEM girls going on here.
it's like a dating service. It's like Match.com for eBay.
Yeah.
It's like the haves and the have-nots, and we try to keep your background similar so you have something in common. That is great. Now tell us the name of your eBay store.
Linda's Rocky Mountain Finds.
Okay, and there's going to be a link to that below the video, so anybody watching can go check out her store and see that she's a real person. Look at her clothing listings, because we are doing those for her. She finds the good stuff and takes the pictures, and then we write the listings and set up the listing for her, optimizing those keywords, which is really the most important part. Because if you don't have those keywords on there, buyers typing in those keywords are not going to be matched up with your listing. So you may have the greatest St. John or anthropology thing, but if you're not using those buzzwords, those keywords out there in fashion, your listings are just not going to be seen. And it's not that your stuff is crappy. It's just you've got to use the right keywords for search. And that's where we come in. So let's see. Okay, you've talked about Kristen. What advice would you give to someone looking to grow their business who needs to hire help but is hesitant for paying for help?
Just start slow. Go, you can always pick your house, find some items in your house, get a few things listed. You just need to do it. And if you're not ready to pay for help, obviously you just need to do the work yourself, but do things that you enjoy. And just get the listings up and set aside as much time as you're able to. That doesn't take away from your life. You always have to find a nice balance in this business. To find the time for your personal life as well as the business. So just do it.
And you started off with about 1,000 listings, and we've been working together for 2 or 3 months, and you're at 1,100 now. So basically what we're doing is we're just helping you maintain that pace of getting stuff listed and selling, because it's not like all of a sudden you have 2,000 listings, because things keep selling. We've done,
and I've also been making a change in my store, and I'm pulling a lot of old dead stuff that's just not going to move because it's just dragging down my store metrics. So I actually have been pulling probably a couple hundred items off of my store as well. So it's a little misleading to see that, I was at 1,000 and now I'm just approaching 1,100, but I also pulled a couple hundred items.
Okay, so you're doing like a reorganization, revamping old stuff to make everything more efficient.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, but you're not going backwards. I mean, you're maintaining, you're selling. Would you say your sales have increased since we started working with you?
That's kind of hard to say because we're coming into that slow period of the summer.
Right.
My sales have pretty much stayed even, which I actually think is growth because of the fact that we're into the summer slowdown. In fact, I'm doing better now than I had a horrible April. I don't know what happened.
I did too. I was like, I made that sales update video and I was like, this is embarrassing. I didn't really sell much. And the name of it is April Sales Are Sad or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened then, but they have picked back up. So in a way, even though the last couple of months have kind of been even, I kind of see it as growth because they're staying even at a time when summer sales or summer slowdown is happening. So
right.
If I can keep going kind of even through the summer, I'll be actually pretty ecstatic about it, because then we'll hit the fourth quarter and things will really start to take off.
So your goal for this business is to be able to live on it and get to the point where you can start putting some money away for retirement. Are you Gen X or baby boomer?
Baby boomer.
Okay, well, I'm Gen X, and our generation is like retirement? What are you talking about? You know, and then like when I went through my divorce in 2003, I forfeited all of the money we had in retirement to keep the house so that I didn't have to move and the kids wouldn't be affected and all that. So I don't regret that decision at all. But you know, only retirement I have is if I get Social Security, which being self-employed, you don't get as much because you don't pay in as much. And, you know, a lot of, I guess you're kind of a late baby boomer then.
Yeah,
Um,
I was the very, very tail end of baby
so
boomers.
I'm like an early Gen Xer. So we're kind of in the same situation where we hope Social Security will be there, but it may not. And a lot of us are scrambling to catch up because, you know, retirement is coming. But, you know, I just don't think it's going to be the same for us as other generations. We're not just going to sit around and knit in rocking chairs unless you want to. But, you know, we like to be busy. We want something industrious to do and productive and fulfilling. And we don't just want to stop working and sit around. At least I don't. And so I think that's kind of where you're at based on your answers is you want a fun, profitable, interesting, fulfilling way to earn money that's flexible to help you save for retirement now. And then if when you get to retirement, you're not really going to be retired. You're going to be a baby boomer
We're still
eBayer.
doing this, maybe just don't need to do it as hard as I am now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. So I think a lot of people are in that situation where that's what they're using eBay for is something to add to their retirement years that is fulfilling, because that's what retirement's supposed to be, the fulfilling time of your life where you have fewer responsibilities and you can do what you want.
Yep, exactly.
Great. Okay, well, is there any last words, anything else you want to share with the viewers?
I think we covered quite a bit. Yeah, just, don't be afraid of the summer slowdown. Just keep working to get the stuff listed because even if it doesn't sell now, we will come out of the summer slowdown before we know it, and
Mhm.
then you'll have all that stuff listed, and just keep finding some good stuff and figure out what you want to do with your business and do it.
Well, and a note on the summer slowdown. You guys can Google this, look it up, but most industries experience this unless it's the travel or the tourism or hospitality industries, you know, airlines, hotels, restaurants, you know, that's where people are spending their money in the summer. They're not necessarily doing retail, ordering stuff online. So it's, if you're seeing that in your business, don't panic. It's very cyclical. It will come back, and just don't focus on these views and watchers and all that stuff. Just focus on getting stuff listed so that when people are back from vacation, back in their routines, all the teachers are back at school teaching and all the kids are out of the house and the moms have their lives back and all of that, they're going to start buying again. It happens every year. So you're exactly right. Just focus on what you can do that will empower you to list. You know, you can list, you can organize stuff, you can buy more stuff, you can work on your bookkeeping. Don't just wallow in, I don't have any sales, because that's not productive. That's
And
my.
check some of the other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Start diversifying. Do some
Exactly.
local sales Facebook Marketplace. That's actually been working out great for me the last few weeks. So
Wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah, I've got a few videos on my masterclass about using Facebook for selling if people aren't doing that. So you're very smart to diversify like that, and just you're ambitious. So I commend you for everything you've done and your consistency. And that's really the key to success on eBay is you've got to be ambitious. You've got to be consistent. You've got to take risks. And you just, it's a long haul. You know, it's not going to happen in a month or 3 months. It takes a while.
Not a
And
get rich quick scheme.
exactly.
In fact, it's probably not a get rich either, but make a living, yes.
Well, and it's a live your life the way you want to
Yeah.
situation. You know, it's, you know, getting rich is not really on most people's radar. It's, can I live my life the way I want and do what I want to do and have the resources to do that? So if you want to close up shop and go on vacation for a week and go visit your friends, and you can do that, you know, and that, no, you can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on being able to be at your kid's graduation from college in another state, or, you know, a parent's birthday that's coming up, or these things that you can't put a price on that. So eBay lets you have that flexibility.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, Linda's store is under the video if you want to take a look. And I will see you on online when you place your orders. Thanks so much, Linda.
All right, thanks.
Hey, eBay sellers, it's Suzanne A. Wells, and I want to make sure you know about my eBay virtual assistant service. We all know that items that aren't listed can't sell, and that's the backlog for everybody. Too much stuff, not enough time to list it. So my team of experienced virtual assistants can help get those items listed for you. So you send us your pictures and we list the items on your eBay account, optimized for search and with great keywords in 24 to 48 hours. We are doing thousands of listings a month now, and our clients really love it. Also, all of my assistants are active eBay sellers, so they know eBay. It's not just data entry. They're also native English speakers and communicate directly with you when working on your order. So nothing is left to chance, and your listings are done correctly. Again, the turnaround time is 24 to 48 hours, so we get it done quickly so that those items can get listed and you can start making money. The cost is $2 per item, and just look below the video for a link on how to get started. We look forward to working with you. Have a profitable and productive day on eBay.